Imagination is not fantasy as the world would have you believe. Imagination is the very substance of reality, the creative power of the universe itself. It is God in action, for we are told that man is made in the image of God. The Hebrew word for image is tilm, which carries with it the connotation of shadow or reflection. You are not merely a creation of God, you are the creative power of God individualized. Now let me share a story with you. A few years ago, a man came to one of my lectures in New York. He was financially destitute, had lost his business, his home was in foreclosure, and his family was on the verge of breaking apart under the strain. He asked me after the lecture, how can I possibly shift my energy when everything around me contradicts what I desire? How can I believe in abundance when my reality shows only lack? I told him what I will tell you now. The outer world is merely the effect. Consciousness is the cause. If you wait for the outer world to change before you change your consciousness, you will wait forever, for the world can only reflect what you are projecting. So I told this man, dare to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, live from the end. Feel the energy of what it would be like to have your business thriving again, to have your home secure, to have harmony in your family. He practiced this diligently, entering into the state of consciousness where his desires were already fulfilled, feeling the naturalness of it, the reality of it in his imagination. And within 6 months, not only had he started a new business that was more successful than his previous one, but he had also managed to save his home and restore harmony to his family life. Was this a miracle? No, it was the natural working of law. For as the great poet William Blake said, what seems to be is to those to whom it seems to be. Your reality is entirely subjective, and it conforms perfectly to your concept of yourself and the assumptions that you hold as true. Now, what does it mean to shift your energy? It is not enough to merely visualize what you want, though that is certainly part of it. To truly shift your energy means to so completely identify with the style, desire that you feel yourself to be living from it now. You see, most people try to manifest from a state of wanting, of needing, of not having, but that energy of lack only perpetuates more lack. Imagine a radio. There are countless stations broadcasting simultaneously, but you can only hear the one to which you are tuned. Your consciousness is like that radio. There are infinite states of consciousness, infinite versions of reality, all existing simultaneously. The one you experience is the one with which you are in vibrational harmony, the one that matches your energy, your state of consciousness. So how do you shift your energy to manifest your desired future? First, you must clearly define what you want. Be specific. The universe cannot deliver vague requests. If you want financial abundance, how much exactly? If you want a harmonious relationship, what qualities must it embody? If you want vibrant health, how does it feel to have it? Once you have clearly defined your desire, you must then do what seems to be the most challenging part, but which is in fact the simplest. You must assume the state of consciousness of already having it. You must feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Let me ask you this. If you already had what you desire, how would you feel? What thoughts would you think? How would you carry yourself? What would your internal dialogue be like when you can answer these questions and begin to embody those feelings, thoughts, and behaviors? You are shifting your energy to match the frequency of your desire. Now let me tell you about the law of assumption, which is the foundation of all manifestation. Whatever you assume to be true, your subconscious mind must accept, and it will work day and night to bring into your experience evidence of that assumption. This is not positive thinking. This is the recognition of how reality operates at its fundamental level. If you assume that you are loved, your subconscious mind will orchestrate events to bring you evidence of being loved. If you assume that you are wealthy, your subconscious mind will guide you toward opportunities for wealth. If you assume that you are healthy, your body will respond accordingly. But you must persist in this assumption until it becomes your dominant feeling, your natural state of being. Remember the words of Scripture, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." Your transformation begins with the renewing of your mind, with changing your concept of yourself and the assumptions that you live by. Many of you have heard of the law of attraction, but few understand its true mechanism. The law of attraction is not about attracting things to you, it is about attracting you to things. You are drawn to the reality that matches your state of consciousness. When you shift your energy, when you change your state of consciousness, you are literally shifting to a different version of reality where your desires already exist. And this is where many fall short in their manifestation practices. They try to manifest while still identifying with the state of not having what they desire. It is like trying to broadcast on one frequency while tuning into another. It creates static confusion and ultimately disappointment. So how do you maintain this new state of consciousness, this shifted energy? Through mental diet. Just as you are careful about what you put into your physical body, be even more vigilant about what you feed your mind. Every thought, every internal conversation, every assumption is either aligning you with your desire or moving you away from it. Begin to observe your thoughts, your internal conversations. Are they of lack of fear, of doubt? Then change them. Replace them with thoughts and conversations that align with your desire fulfilled. This is not denial of your current reality. It is the recognition that your current reality is simply the harvest of seeds planted in the past, and you are now planting new seeds for a new harvest. Now, I want to address a common concern. Many of you may be thinking, but what about action? Don't I need to do something to manifest my desires? Yes, action is important, but it is inspired action that comes from your shifted state of consciousness, not action born of desperation or fear. When you have truly shifted your energy to align with your desire fulfilled, you will be naturally guided to take the right actions at the right time. It will not feel like effort or struggle. It will feel natural, inspired, almost as if you are being carried along by a current. Remember, the outer world can only reflect what is within. If your inner world is filled with doubt, fear, and lack, your outer world will reflect those states. But when your inner world is filled with certainty, love, and abundance, your outer world must and will reflect those states instead. I want to share another story with you. A woman once came to me who had been trying to manifest a loving relationship for years without success. She had tried everything, affirmations, vision boards, even dating apps, but nothing seemed to work. When we delved deeper, I discovered that while she consciously wanted a loving relationship, she harbored a deep pity that she was unlovable, that any man who truly knew her would eventually leave her. No amount of external action could override this subconscious assumption. So I guided her to work on changing this core belief. Rather than trying to find love, I suggested that she become the embodiment of love itself, to feel so filled with love that it overflowed from her, to assume the state of being deeply loved and valued, not by any specific person, but as her natural state of being. Within 2 months of this inner work, of this energy shifting, she met a man who adored her exactly as she was. They are now married and have created a life together based on mutual respect, admiration, and deep love. She didn't find him. She became the version of herself who was already with him. This is the essence of manifestation through energy shifting. It is not about manipulating the external world. It is about transforming your internal world, knowing that the external must conform. Now, I want to address another aspect of manifestation that is often misunderstood, and that is the concept of time. In our three-dimensional world, we experience time as linear, as a progression from past to present to future. But in the fourth dimension, in the spiritual realm, all time exists simultaneously. There is only the eternal now. When you truly understand this, you realize that your future already exists. It is not something to be created. It is something to be selected through your state of consciousness. Think of it as a radio dial again. Your future of abundance, health, love, and joy already exists on a particular frequency. You don't need to create it. You only need to tune into it by shifting your energy to match its frequency. This is why patience is so important in manifestation. It is not about waiting for your desire to be created. It is about allowing the bridge of events to be built between your current physical reality and the reality where your desire already exists. This bridge is built automatically once you have shifted your energy, once you have assumed the state of consciousness of your wish fulfilled. But many of you become impatient. You shift your energy for a day or two, and then when you don't see immediate results, you revert state to old state of consciousness. Your old energy, it is like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to see if it has grown. You must plant the seed of your desire in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind and then allow it to grow in its own time and in its own way. Remember the words of Scripture, in due season we shall reap if we faint not. Your harvest will come, but it will come in its own season, not necessarily unattainable. Your job is not to determine when or how your desire will manifest. Your job is simply to maintain the state of consciousness, the energy of already having it. And this brings me to another crucial aspect of manifestation, and that is detachment. Many of you become so attached to your desire, so fixated on it, that you actually push it away. For attachment comes from a place of fear, a fear that you might not get what you want. And that fear is a low-frequency energy that repels rather than attracts. True detachment comes from absolute knowing. When you know that your desire is already yours in the spiritual realm, when you know that it must manifest in the physical realm, if you maintain the right state of consciousness, then you can relax. Then you can let go of the desperate need to see it now. It is like ordering a package online. Once you've placed the order, you don't sit by your mailbox fretting and worrying about whether it will come. You know it will come because you've placed the order. You go about your life, and when the package arrives, you receive it with gratitude. Manifesting your desires works the same way. Once you've placed your order with the universe by assuming the state of consciousness of your wish fulfilled, you must then release it, trust the process, and go about your life from this new state of being. Now, I want to talk about an aspect of energy shifting that is often overlooked, and that is the energy of gratitude. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrational states you can embody. When you are genuinely grateful, you are acknowledging that you already have what you desire, even if it has not yet manifested in the physical realm. Gratitude closes the gap between wanting and having. It is impossible to feel grateful and to feel lack at the same time. They are opposing energies. So if you want to shift your energy rapidly, begin to practice deep, genuine gratitude for your desire as if it is already yours. Each night before you sleep and each morning when you wake, give thanks for your desire fulfilled. Feel the feeling of gratitude wash over you. Allow it to permeate every cell of your being. This practice alone can completely transform your manifestation process. But there is an even deeper level of gratitude that I want to invite you to explore, and that is gratitude for what is, not just for what you desire. When you can find genuine gratitude for your current reality, even for the challenges and the lessons, you elevate your energy to such a degree that manifestation becomes effortless. For at the highest level of consciousness, you recognize that everything is perfect exactly as it is. Every experience, every challenge, every seeming setback is actually moving you toward your highest good. When you can embody this truth, when you can live from this understanding, you become a master manifester. I want to share with you a powerful technique for shifting your energy, and that is the use of I am statements. I am is one of the most powerful phrases in any language because it defines your state of being. Whatever follows I am shapes your reality. Be very careful with the statements that follow I am in your internal dialogue. If you find yourself thinking or saying I am sick, I am broke, I am unlucky in love, you are affirming and reinforcing those states of being. Instead, deliberately choose I am statements that align with your desires. I am healthy and vibrant. I am abundantly wealthy. I am deeply loved and in a harmonious relationship. Say these statements not as affirmations that you hope will become true, but as acknowledgments of what is already true in the spiritual realm, in the reality that you are now aligning with. Feel the truth of these statements as you say them. If resistance arises, if your mind argues with these statements, simply observe that resistance without judgment and gently return to the feeling of your statements being true. Over time, with persistence, these new I am statements will become your default state of being, your natural energy signature, and your outer world will reorganize itself to match this new inner state. Now I want to talk about a common obstacle to manifestation, and that is the energy of unworthiness. Many of you at a subconscious level do not believe that you deserve what you desire. This belief, this energy of unworthiness, acts as a barrier between you and your manifestations. Remember, the universe is abundant beyond measure. There is no limit to what you can have, be, or do, except the limits that you place upon yourself through your beliefs and assumptions. You are worthy of everything you desire simply because you exist, simply because you are an individualized expression of God, of the creative power of the universe. If you find yourself struggling with feelings of unworthiness, begin to work on healing this aspect of your consciousness. Recognize that these feelings are not the truth of who you are. They are simply beliefs that you have acquired throughout your life, beliefs that you can change. One powerful way to dissolve the energy of unworthiness is through self-love practices. Begin to treat yourself with the same kindness, compassion, and respect that you would offer to someone you deeply love. Speak to yourself with words of encouragement and affirmation. Care for your body, mind, and spirit as if they are sacred. As you cultivate self-love, as you shift from the energy of unworthiness to the energy of deservingness, you remove one of the most significant barriers to manifestation. And this brings me to another crucial aspect of energy shifting, and that is forgiveness. Unforgiveness, whether directed toward others or toward yourself, is a low-frequency energy that blocks the flow of your good. It keeps you chained to the past and prevents you from fully entering into the energy of your desired future. Forgiveness does not mean condoning harmful actions or staying in harmful situations. It means releasing the emotional charge, the energetic cord that binds you to people and events from your past. It means recognizing that by holding on to resentment, you are only hurting yourself. True forgiveness comes from understanding that everyone, including yourself, is doing the best they can with the consciousness they have in any given moment. As consciousness evolves, behavior improves. So forgive yourself for past mistakes, understanding that they were the result of your level of consciousness at that time, and forgive others for the same reason. This forgiveness practice will liberate tremendous amounts of energy that can then be redirected toward manifesting your desires. Now I want to discuss the role of belief in the manifestation process. Your beliefs are the foundation upon which your reality is built. A belief is simply a thought that you have thought so often that it has become automatic, unconscious. Many of your beliefs were formed in childhood, absorbed from your family culture and early experiences. Some of these beliefs serve you, but many do not. The good news is that beliefs can be changed. They are not fixed or permanent unless you consider them to be. To shift your energy for powerful manifestation, you must identify and transform the beliefs that are not in alignment with your desires. For instance, if you desire financial abundance but hold a belief that money is the root of all evil or rich people are greedy, you are creating internal conflict that will block your manifestation. Begin to examine your beliefs about the areas of life where you desire change. Write them down. Look at them objectively. Ask yourself, is this belief serving me? Is it helping me manifest my desires? Is it even true? If the answer is no, then decide to release that belief and replace it with one that is in alignment with your desires. Remember, a belief is nothing more than a thought that you have thought repeatedly. By deliberately choosing new thoughts and thinking them repeatedly with emotion and conviction, you can install new beliefs that support rather than sabotage your manifestations. And this brings me to another powerful technique for energy shifting, and that is the use of your imagination. Your imagination is not merely a faculty for daydreaming. It is the creative faculty through which you shape your reality. Every night before you sleep, enter into a state of deep relaxation and use your imagination to create a scene that implies your desire is already fulfilled. Make this scene as vivid and as real as possible. Engage all of your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel, smell, taste? Immerse yourself in this scene until it feels absolutely real to you, until you feel the joy, the gratitude, the satisfaction of your desire being fulfilled. Then carry this feeling with you into sleep. Your subconscious mind is most receptive as you fall asleep and as you awaken. By impressing your desire upon your subconscious in these receptive states, you are programming it to manifest in your physical reality. Do this consistently night after night, and you will be amazed at how your outer world begins to rearrange itself to match the inner world that you have created in your imagination. Now, I want to talk about an aspect of manifestation that is often misunderstood, and that is the role of action. Many teachings on manifestation either overemphasize action, making it seem as if manifestation is all about hustle and effort, or they underemphasize it, making it seem as if you can simply visualize your desires and they will magically appear without any movement on your part. The truth lies in the balance. Manifestation requires both inner and outer work. The inner work is shifting your energy, changing your state of consciousness to align with your desire fulfilled. The outer world is taking inspired action from this new state of consciousness. The key word here is inspired. When you have successfully shifted your energy, when you are living from the state of your desire fulfilled, you will be naturally guided to take certain actions. These actions will not feel like struggle or effort. They will feel natural, exciting, almost as if you are being pulled toward them. This is the universe working through you to bring your desire into physical form. Your job is to remain in the energy of your desire fulfilled and to follow the intuitive nudges The inspired ideas that come to you from this state, sometimes the inspired action may be to do nothing, to be patient, to trust. Other times it may be to take a bold step you would never have considered from your old state of consciousness. Trust the guidance that comes from your shifted energy and act on it promptly. I want to address another common obstacle to manifestation, and that is the energy of doubt. Doubt is natural. It arises whenever we attempt to create something that we have not created before, whenever we attempt to become something that we have not been before. But doubt need not derail your manifestations. When doubt arises simply without judgment, do not fight it or try to suppress it, as this only gives it more power. Instead, acknowledge it and then gently return to the feeling of your desire fulfilled. Remember, doubt is simply a thought, and a thought can be changed. Replace the thought of doubt with a thought of certainty, with the knowing that what you desire is already yours in the spiritual realm and must manifest in the physical realm if you maintain the right state of consciousness. One powerful way to overcome doubt is through evidence collecting. Begin to notice the small signs, the synchronicities, the coincidences that suggest your desire is on its way to you. These signs are everywhere once you begin to look for them. Acknowledging and appreciating these signs builds your faith and dissolves doubt. And this brings me to another crucial aspect of energy shifting, and that is the importance of consistency. Manifestation is not a one-time event, it is a way of life. You must consistently maintain the energy, the state of consciousness of your desire fulfilled in order for it in your physical reality. This does not mean that you will never have moments of doubt or fear or reverting to old patterns of thought. You are human and fluctuations in energy are natural, but it does mean that you must consistently return to the energy of your desire fulfilled, especially after you have temporarily slipped from it. I think of it like learning to play a musical instrument. At first, it requires conscious effort and practice. You make mistakes, you get frustrated, but you keep returning to the practice. Eventually, it becomes second nature. You can play without conscious thought. It becomes a part of who you are. Manifestation works the same way. At first, maintaining the energy of your desire fulfilled requires conscious effort and practice. But as you persist, it becomes your natural state of being, your default energy signature. And this brings me to one of the most powerful secrets of manifestation, which is the understanding that you are not just manifesting things or experiences. You are manifesting a state of being. The things and experiences are simply the outer symbols, the physical reflections of this state of being. For instance, if you desire financial abundance, what you are really seeking is the state of being that you believe financial abundance will give you, perhaps its security, freedom, peace of mind, the ability to contribute to causes you care about. When you identify the state of being that underlies your desire and begin to cultivate that state now, regardless of your current circumstances, you accelerate your manifestation tremendously. But you are no longer trying to get something to feel a certain way. You are feeling that way now and allowing the outer symbols to naturally follow. This is why it is so important to clarify your desires, to understand what you truly want beneath the surface level desire. What state of being are you seeking? Once you've identified it, begin to embody it now. Feel it as your reality now. Live from it now and watch as your outer world transforms to match this inner state. Now I want to talk about an aspect of energy shifting that is often overlooked, and that is the energy of surrender. Many of you approach manifestation with a tight grip, with an energy of control and force. You try to micromanage the universe, dictating exactly how and when your desire should manifest. But true manifestation requires a balance of intention and surrender. You set your intention clearly. You shift your energy to align with your desire fulfilled. And then you surrender the outcome to the universe, to the wisdom of yourself, trusting that what manifests will be for your highest good, even if it doesn't look exactly as you had imagined. This surrender is not giving up. It is not resignation. It is a profound trust in the perfect unfolding of your life, in the benevolence of the universe. It is the recognition that your higher self, your divine self, may have an even grander vision for your life than your human self can conceive. When you can hold both clear intention and complete surrender simultaneously, you enter into a state of flow, a state of grace, where manifestation becomes effortless and joyful. And now I want to leave you with a final thought, a final truth about the nature of reality and the process of manifestation. Everything that you perceive in your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. Everything. There are no exceptions to this rule. This means that if you want to change anything in your outer world, your finances, your relationships, your health, your career, you must first change the corresponding aspect of your inner world. You must shift your energy, your state of consciousness, in relation to that area of life. This is both a tremendous responsibility and a tremendous freedom. It means that you are not at the mercy of external circumstances, of other people's actions, of the economy, of luck or fate. You are the creator of your reality, all of it through the states of consciousness that you embody. So choose wisely the states of consciousness, the energies that you embody. Choose states of love rather than fear, of abundance rather than lack, of health rather than illness, of harmony rather than conflict. Choose to live from the end, from the fulfilled desire, rather than from the wanting of it. Do this consistently with faith and patience, and your life will transform in ways that may seem miraculous to others, but that you will understand as the natural working of law, the perfect reflection of your shifted energy, your changed consciousness. Remember, I am is the self-definition of the infinite. Whatever follows I am in your consciousness defines your world. Choose your I am statements with care and with full awareness of their creative power. You are not merely a human being having a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. You are an individualized expression of the divine with all the creative power that implies. Use this power consciously, use it wisely, use it lovingly, and your life will become a living testament to the truth that as within so without. Shift your energy and you shift your world. It is the law, it is the promise, and it is the way. The secret I wish to impart to you this evening is this. Only 1 minute of properly directed consciousness is required to set in motion the forces that can manifest even the seemingly impossible in your world. 1 minute of perfect imaginative control can birth miracles that defy all logical explanation. Many of you have traveled great distances to be here tonight seeking answers, seeking transformation. You have tried countless methods, followed numerous teachers, and yet the fulfillment of your desires remains elusive. I say to you now, cease your searching in the external world. The kingdom you seek is within you, and it requires but a moment of proper attention to unlock its boundless treasures. When I speak of 1 minute, I am not speaking in terms of compromise or limitation. Rather, I am revealing to you the tremendous power that resides in a perfectly concentrated moment of consciousness. For time as you understand it in your waking state is merely an illusion, a creation of your own wonderful human imagination. In the realm of true creation, in the realm of imagination, there is no time. There is only the eternal now pregnant with infinite possibilities, and it is in this eternal now that all your desires already exist as accomplished facts. Your task is not to create what you desire, but to claim it as already yours through the controlled direction of your imagination. Consider this fundamental truth: your consciousness, your awareness of being is God. The Bible declares, I am that I am. This is not speaking of a deity removed from you dwelling in some distant heaven. This I am is your fundamental awareness of existence, your consciousness, and it is the one and only creative power in the universe. When you say I am, you are declaring the name of God, and whatever you attach to this divine declaration becomes a condition, the state you experience. If you say I am sick, I am poor, I am unwanted, you are using the creative power of the universe to manifest these very states. But equally, when you declare I am wealthy, I am loved, I am successful, even when all appearances contradict these statements, you are engaging the same divine power to bring these conditions into your experience. The 1 minute I speak of is a minute of complete immersion in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. It is a minute in which you close the doors of your senses to the present limitations that surround you and enter fully into the imaginal scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. In that minute, properly employed, you can rewrite the script of your life. Let me share with you an experience of one of my students that illustrates this principle perfectly. This gentleman had been unemployed for nearly 2 years. His savings were depleted, his confidence shattered, and his family was on the verge of destitution. Every job interview ended in rejection. The external facts of his life painted a picture of hopelessness. I instructed him to take 1 minute, just 1 minute, before falling asleep each night to feel as though he were already employed in a position that gave him satisfaction and financial abundance. I told him not to visualize the process of getting the job, but rather to feel the naturalness of already having it. He was to imagine a scene that implied the fulfillment of this desire, perhaps a friend congratulating him on his new position, or the feeling of depositing his ample paycheck, or the satisfaction of contributing meaningfully to his workplace. The scene itself was not important. What mattered was the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the conviction that what he desired was already his. For several nights, he practiced this exercise faithfully. On the fifth day, he received a phone call from a company he had never applied to. A mutual acquaintance had recommended him for a position that perfectly matched his skills and paid considerably more than he had ever earned before. Within a week, he was employed. What 2 years of external effort could not accomplish, 5 minutes of properly directed imagination achieved effortlessly. Was this a coincidence? Was it luck? I tell you it was neither. It was the law were your own being made manifest. For when you enter into an imaginal scene and make it real through the power of feeling, you have activated forces beyond your conscious understanding. Forces that reality to conform to your dominant impression. The scriptures tell us faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. This faith is not mere wishful thinking or intellectual acceptance of a doctrine. Faith is the feeling of possession, the assurance that what is not yet visible to your mortal eye already exists in the reality of your imagination. And your imagination, being God in action within you, cannot fail to objectify that which you have faithfully embodied in feeling. Some of you may be thinking, but Nebo, 1 minute seems too short a time to change the conditions of my life that have persisted for years. To this, I would say you underestimate the power of your own consciousness. It is not the duration of time spent in your imaginal act that determines its efficacy, but the intensity of feeling the completeness of your immersion in the state desire. A single match properly struck can set an entire forest ablaze. Similarly, a single moment of perfectly focused imagination suffused with the feeling tone of reality can set in motion the forces that will inevitably result in the manifestation of your desire, regardless of how impossible it may seem to your rational mind. The great secret that the mystics and sages have always known is that creation is finished. All that you could ever desire to be, do, or have already exists in what I call the infinite states of consciousness. Your journey is not one of creating anew, but of selecting and embodying the state that corresponds to your desire. And this selection is done through the faculty of attention controlled by your imagination. When I instruct you to take 1 minute to feel yourself into the state of your wish fulfilled, I am giving you the key to unlocking the treasure house of infinity. For in that 1 minute, if properly employed, you transcend time itself. You step out of the limitations of your current state and enter a new state of consciousness, and your outer world must reshape itself to mirror this inner change. There was a woman in one of my lectures some years ago who had been diagnosed with an incurable heart condition. The physicians had given her perhaps 6 months to live. After hearing me speak on this principle, she decided to take 1 minute each day to feel the joy and gratitude of being perfectly healthy. She imagined hearing her doctor say, "I cannot understand it. Your heart shows no sign of disease whatsoever." She felt the relief, the boundless gratitude, the sheer joy of this pronouncement. 3 months later, upon her regular examination, her doctor was baffled. The tests showed no trace of the previous condition. Further examinations confirmed that her heart was functioning perfectly. The medical community called it a spontaneous remission, an unexplainable healing, but she and I knew better. It was the perfect working of law. She had selected a different state of consciousness, and her body conformed to that selection. You see, the outer world is nothing more than the projection of your inner assumptions. Change the assumption, and you change the projection. It cannot be otherwise, for consciousness is the only reality, and your assumptions determine which state of consciousness you occupy. The 1 minute practice I am giving you this evening is so simple that many will dismiss it as too elementary to produce significant results. Yet its very simplicity is what makes it so powerful. You need no special equipment, no esoteric knowledge, no years of disciplined practice. You need only your imagination and the willingness to feel the naturalness of your desire fulfilled. Here is how you employ this 1 minute practice. First, clarify what you truly desire, not the means to the fulfillment, but the end itself. If you desire wealth, what does wealth mean to you? Is it a specific sum in your bank account? Is it the freedom to travel? Is it the ability to help others financially? Clarify the essence of your desire. Next, create a scene that would imply the fulfillment of this desire. If your desire is for perfect health, Perhaps imagine a friend commenting on how vibrant and energetic you appear. If your desire is for a harmonious relationship, perhaps imagine yourself and your beloved sharing a moment of perfect understanding and joy. The scene should be brief, easily visualized, and imply that your desire is already fulfilled. Then set aside 1 minute, preferably just before sleep, when your mind is naturally relaxed and receptive, and completely immerse yourself in this scene. Do not merely visualize it as if watching a movie. Enter into it fully. Be a participant, not a spectator. Feel the solidity of objects you would touch in this scene. Hear the sounds that would be present. Most importantly, feel the emotions that would be yours if this imaginal act were your present reality. For that 1 minute, let nothing disturb your concentration. If your attention wanders, gently bring it back to your scene. Infuse the scene with the absolute conviction that this is now reality. Feel the naturalness, the off-courseness of your desire fulfilled. Then release the scene completely. Do not spend the rest of your day wondering when or how your desire will manifest. Remember, in the reality of imagination, which is the only reality your desire is already fulfilled, the outer manifestation is merely the shadow, the echo of what you have already accepted as real in consciousness. Let me tell you of another student who applied this principle to what seemed an impossible situation. This gentleman was in his late 50s and had been passed over for promotion repeatedly in favor of younger colleagues. He had specialized knowledge that was valuable to his company, but management saw him as too close to retirement to invest in his advancement. After learning this principle, he took 1 minute each night to feel the satisfaction of being called into his supervisor's office and being informed of his promotion to regional director, a position 2 levels above his current role. He felt the handshake, heard the congratulatory words, felt the surge of validation that would accompany such an event. Within 3 weeks, a corporate restructuring was announced. The regional offices were being reorganized, and to everyone's surprise, including his own, he was appointed regional director. When he spoke with the executive who had selected him for the role, he was told, "We need someone with your specific experience and knowledge base to guide this transition." The decision became obvious once we reviewed the requirements. What appeared impossible, a double promotion for a man considered too senior for advancement, manifested effortlessly once he had planted the seed in consciousness through his 1 minute imaginal act. The Bible tells us the kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed which a man took and planted in his field. Though it is the smallest of all seeds, yet when it grows it is the largest of garden plants. Your 1 minute imaginal act is this mustard seed, seemingly insignificant in its brevity, yet containing within it the full power of creation, which when planted in the fertile soil of your consciousness, must grow into the full manifestation of your desire. Many of you have been taught that worthwhile achievements require struggle, that you must earn your good through labor and sacrifice. This is the thinking of the world, and it has kept humanity in bondage for centuries. I am offering you freedom from this bondage through the recognition that consciousness, not action, is the foundational creative power. Right action will follow naturally from right consciousness. When you have truly assumed the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you will be automatically guided to take whatever steps are necessary for its manifestation in the outer world. But these actions will not be the strained efforts of someone trying to make something happen. They will be the natural, almost effortless expressions of your state of being. Some of you may be wondering about timing. How long, you ask, between my imaginal act and its fulfillment in the outer world? This is a question that cannot be answered with precision, for it depends on many factors: the naturalness of the state to your particular consciousness, the degree to which your desire conforms to what I call the law of assumption, and the time required for the reshaping of external circumstances. But know this, the manifestation will occur at precisely the right moment in what Scripture calls the fullness of time. Your task is not to be concerned with when, but to remain faithful to the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled, for the very concern about timing betrays a lack of faith in the reality of your imaginal act. I have had experiences where manifestation occurred within hours of my imaginal act, and others where months passed before the seed I had planted flowered into larger reality. But in every case, the manifestation came not because I made it happen through anxious monitoring, but because the law of consciousness is infallible. What you assume to be true with feeling must objectify itself in your world. You might ask, can this principle be applied to seemingly impossible situations? to the healing of supposedly incurable diseases, to the transformation of seemingly fixed circumstances, to the manifestation of desires that reason says cannot be fulfilled? And I answer you with an emphatic yes, for what appears impossible to your rational mind is merely a limitation imposed by your current beliefs about what is possible. When you shift your consciousness through the power of your controlled imagination, you transcend these limitations. You align yourself with the creative power that fashioned the universe, and to this power, which is your own wonderful human imagination, nothing is impossible. I know a man who was told by multiple medical specialists that he would never walk unassisted again after a devastating accident. Following the principle I am sharing with you tonight, he spent 1 minute each day feeling the naturalness, the joy of walking freely, feeling the ground beneath his feet, experiencing the ease of movement that had been his before the accident. Against all medical prognosis, within 6 months he was walking without assistance. His physicians were baffled, attributing his recovery to some anomaly in their initial diagnosis. But he knew the truth. He had selected a different state of consciousness, and his body had reshaped itself to conform to this new selection. This principle applies not only to individual transformation, but to the reshaping of relationships as well. If you are experiencing discord with another person, do not try to change them through external effort or persuasion. Instead, take your 1 minute to imagine an interaction with this person that embodies the harmony you desire. Feel the naturalness of understanding between you, the ease of communication, the mutual respect and appreciation. Do this faithfully, and you will be amazed at the transformation that occurs. Not because you have manipulated the other person, but because you have transformed your own consciousness regarding the relationship. And since all relationships exist in consciousness, the outer expression of the relationship must conform to your inner assumption. A woman once came to me in great distress over her marriage. For years, her husband had been emotionally distant, critical, and non-affectionate. They had tried counseling without success, and she was contemplating divorce as her only option for happiness. I instructed her to take 1 minute before sleep each night to feel the joy and gratitude of being in a loving, harmonious marriage with this same man. I told her not to imagine a different man or a different marriage, but this same relationship transformed by her shift in consciousness. She imagined her husband looking at her with love and appreciation, speaking words of affection, sharing moments of genuine connection. She felt the relief, the happiness, the fulfillment of being in such a relationship. Within 3 weeks, subtle changes began to appear in her husband's behavior. He became more attentive, less critical. She began initiating conversations rather than retreating into silence. Within 2 months, their marriage had transformed to such a degree that she could hardly believe this was the same relationship that had caused her such anguish. Did her 1 minute practice somehow control or manipulate her husband against his will? Not at all. What it did was shift her consciousness regarding the relationship, and since consciousness is the only reality, the outer picture, including her husband's behavior, had to adjust to reflect this inner change. This principle of the 1 minute imaginal act applies with equal power to conditions that appear to involve multiple individuals or complex social structures. If you desire a particular position in your company, do not concern yourself with the politics of advancement or the competition from others. Take your 1 minute to feel the satisfaction, the sense of accomplishment, the naturalness of already occupying that position. If you seek financial abundance in a challenging economic environment, do not focus on the statistics of scarcity or the limitations of your current income. Use your 1 minute to feel the security, the freedom, the joy of having abundant resources regardless of what your bank statement currently shows. The outer circumstances, no matter how apparently fixed or immutable, are but shadows, reflections of past assumptions. Change the assumption in your 1 minute practice, and the reflection must change in accordance with this new assumption. This is not wishful thinking. It is the operation of immutable law. Many spiritual traditions teach that creation is complete, that all possible states and conditions already exist in what might be called a fourth dimensional reality. Your task is not to create what you desire, but to select through the power of your focused imagination the particular state that corresponds to your desire, and to enter that state through the feeling of its reality. This is what Scripture means by "before you call, I will answer." Your desire in its fulfilled state already exists as a present fact in consciousness. Your imaginal act is not creating it anew, but claiming what already exists in the realm of infinite possibility. The story of the fig tree in the gospel provides a perfect illustration of this principle. Jesus, seeing a fig tree without fruit, spoke to it saying, "No man eat fruit of thee hereafter forever." The disciples noted that the tree appeared unchanged at that moment, but the following day as they passed by, they saw that the fig tree had withered from the roots. This is how your 1-minute imaginal act operates. In the moment of your focused imagination, you may see no outer change in your circumstances, but the seed has been planted, the root has been established in consciousness, and the outer manifestation must follow as surely as the withering of the fig tree followed Jesus' word. Some of you may be thinking, but I have tried visualization before without results. To this I would say there is a world difference between mere visualization as a mental exercise and the complete immersion in the feeling of the wish fulfilled that I am describing to you tonight. Visualization without feeling is sterile and powerless. It is the feeling that gives life to your imaginal act, the feeling of naturalness, of all readiness, of complete acceptance, that what you are imagining is now reality. In that feeling lies the transformative power that reshapes your outer world. Moreover, many who practice visualization continue to grant reality to their current limitations. They see their visualization as something that may happen in the future if they are persistent enough or lucky enough. This divided consciousness, one part affirming the desired state, another part affirming the reality of its absence, neutralizes the creative power of their imaginal act. When I instruct you to take 1 minute to feel the wish fulfilled, I am asking you to temporarily but completely set aside your awareness of its absence in your outer world. For that 1 minute you must grant your imaginal act the same degree of reality, the same sense of solidity and naturalness that you normally grant to your physical surroundings. This requires practice, for we have been conditioned since childhood to trust the evidence of our senses above all else. But with persistence you will develop the ability to immerse yourself so completely in your imaginal scene that for the duration of your practice it is more real to you than the physical world around you. And when you achieve this state, even for 1 minute you have planted a seed that cannot fail to flower into manifestation. For consciousness is the only reality, and what you have made real in consciousness must by law become real in your outer experience. Let me share with you one more illustration of this principle in action. A dear friend of mine had a lifelong dream of owning a particular type of home in a specific neighborhood, a neighborhood where properties rarely came on the market, and my dear commanded prices far beyond her financial reach. By all rational assessment, her desire was impossible to fulfill. I instructed her to take 1 minute each day to feel the joy of already living in this home. Not to visualize how she might acquire it or to worry about the financing, but simply to feel the satisfaction of ownership, to feel herself moving through the rooms, enjoying the garden, welcoming friends to this beloved space. For several weeks she practiced faithfully, and then, as often happens when the seed has been properly planted, she largely forgot about her formal practice as the feeling of ownership became natural to her consciousness. 6 months later, she was contacted by an elderly woman who owned precisely the type of home my friend had been imagining in exactly the neighborhood she desired. The woman, who was moving to another state to be near her children, had specific ideas about who should live in her home. She wanted someone who would love it as she had, who would maintain its character and beauty. Through a series of circumstances that appeared coincidental, but were in fact the natural outworking of consciousness, this woman offered my friend the opportunity to purchase the home at significantly below market value, with financing terms that made it accessible despite my friend's limited resources. Was this luck? Was it chance? I tell you, it was the perfect operation of law. My friend had planted the seed in consciousness through her 1 minute practice. She had selected a different state, the state of being the owner of this type of home, and her outer reality reshaped itself to conform to this inner selection. The circumstances that brought about this manifestation appeared natural, even coincidental. This is always the case. The bridge of incidents leads from your current state to the fulfillment of your desire will appear perfectly natural when viewed from the outside. It is only when you understand the law of consciousness that you recognize these coincidences as the orderly fulfillment of what you have established in imagination. As we draw towards the conclusion of our time together, I want to emphasize that this principle I have shared with you, the principle of the 1 minute imaginal act, is not residential occasions or dramatic transformations. It is meant to be the normal, natural way you approach every aspect of your life, just as you would not attempt to drive from New York to Los Angeles without first establishing Los Angeles as your destination. So you should not move through life without first establishing in consciousness the state you wish to occupy. Your 1-minute practice is simply the means by which you establish these states, planting the seeds that must grow into manifestation. Some will say that this approach to life is impractical, that it ignores the hard realities of existence. To them I say, what you call hard realities are merely the hardened impressions of past thoughts and assumptions. They appear solid and immutable only because you continue to grant them reality through your attention and belief. When you shift your attention to the feeling of your wish fulfilled even for 1 minute of complete immersion, you have begun the process of dissolving these hardened impressions and replacing them with the impression of your new assumption. And since impression is followed by expression, as surely as summer follows spring, your outer world must reshape itself to express this new impression. Do not be discouraged if the full manifestation of your desire does not appear immediately following your 1-minute practice. Remember the fig tree which did not wither in the moment of Jesus' word, but had changed from the roots, a change that became visible the following day. Your imaginal act may likewise be working from the roots, reshaping circumstances that are not yet visible to your physical senses. The interval between your imaginal act and its fulfillment in the outer world is a period for faith, not the faith that hopes or wishes, but the faith that knows with certainty that what has been established in consciousness must objectify itself in experience. This faith is not belief in something that may or may not happen. It is the deep knowing that creation is finished, that what you have felt as real in consciousness is already a fact in the only reality that matters. As you leave this gathering tonight, I urge you to put this principle into immediate practice. Select a desire, something you truly want to be, to do, or to have. Create a brief scene that would imply the fulfillment of this desire. Then tonight, before you sleep, take just 1 minute to enter fully into this scene, to feel its reality with all the power of your emotional being. Do not approach this as a test of the principle, for doubt and testing imply the possibility of failure. Instead, approach it with the innocent wonder of a child who knows that what is imagined with complete faith is already in the process of becoming reality. 1 minute properly employed in the feeling of the wish fulfilled contains within it the power to transform your life in ways that may now seem miraculous or impossible. For in that 1 minute you are engaging the creative power of the universe, your own wonderful human imagination, and directing it consciously towards the fulfillment of your desire. And when you truly understand and apply this principle, you will know the truth of the scripture, all things are possible to him that believe it. For belief in its deepest sense is not intellectual acceptance, but emotional surrender to the reality of that which is not yet seen with the physical eye. Take your 1 minute tonight and plant the seed of a new reality in the fertile soil of your consciousness. Nurture it with the waters of faith, not the faith that hopes, but the faith that knows, and watch as the universe rearranges itself to accommodate your new concept of self, your new assumption of what is possible. For even the impossible will manifest for you when you have properly directed the creative power of your consciousness, even if that direction occupies but a single minute of perfect imaginative control. In that minute lies the key to freedom, to fulfillment, to the conscious creation of a life that reflects your highest desires. The choice is yours, the power is yours, the 1 minute is yours. Use it wisely, use it with complete faith in the creative power of your own wonderful human imagination, and prepare yourself for miracles, not as rare and unusual events, but as the natural expression of properly directed consciousness. For this is the promise in the law, as within so without, as above so below. What you establish in consciousness through your 1 minute imaginal act must manifest in your world. It cannot fail, for consciousness is the only reality, and its expression in the outer world is governed by immutable law. Go now in the knowledge of your own creative power, take your 1 minute, and with it reshape your world. For even the impossible will manifest for you when you understand and apply this simple yet profound truth. Imagination creates reality, and a single minute of properly directed imagination contains within it the power to transform your life beyond all current limitation. Remember always that you are not a helpless victim of circumstances, but the creative center of your own existence. In your consciousness, in your I am, lies the power, that fashioned the universe. Use this power consciously, use it lovingly, use it faithfully, and watch as even the impossible becomes your living experience. For when you are the operant power and you're going to be conscious from that condemnation, take one, when I meant to unlimited, fulfill it, but one angel divinely, the random is a conscious creator, or the window, him, but literally one of the others, ones, and you've been advised responsible, or